on the Stables Network.
Good Monday evening, guys. This is the Sportster Brad Walker, and welcome back to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. Guys, I do apologize. I have been out the last 2 weeks with everything going on with the coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. I think some people out there are calling it the China flu, whatever you want to call it out there. I hope everyone is staying safe and following the rules. I don't know how much longer we'll be doing this for. Hopefully not much longer, but we obviously cannot rush back from this stuff. Again, guys, the reason I've been out the last 2 weeks is not because I'm under the weather or something's going on. Hasn't been a lot to talk about in the state of Florida, but there is a cool event happening this Thursday. If everyone doesn't know out there, it will be the NFL draft. So tonight, guys, I am going to be talking about the college prospects that are coming from the 5 major universities. And I'm going to go through the Bucks, Dolphins, and Jaguars mock drafts leading into Thursday and the rumors leading up to them as well. If anyone out there listening on the Stables Network would like to join me on the Walker Report, let me know. You can private message me on Facebook or even on the website. Let me know if you guys want to hop on. I'm going to have a live draft party on the Walker Report this Thursday night as we outline the first round of the NFL draft. But with that in mind, I'll go ahead and get started. I do want to start off kind of on a bitter note. If there's any Tampa Bay Viper fans out there, if you have not known, the XFL did file bankruptcy, and 9 times out of 10, most likely will not be coming back in 2021. The coronavirus actually had a major impact on that sport, and Vince McMahon has decided that he is not going to bring it back. I don't know, guys. Again, it's too early to tell. Who knows? They might end up bringing it back. They might end up bringing it back. Who knows? I mean, I could be wrong, and we could end up having it, come back, later on, in 2021. We don't know. But as of right now, if anyone out there is a Vipers fan, unfortunately, there will be no Vipers football as of right now being announced. Guys, I know you cannot see if you're not sure on Facebook Live. I do have a microphone here. I am getting a new microphone stand coming up to Wednesday. I'll be getting a new microphone stand. This stand that I had to battle with this thing for the last about 5 minutes to get it to stay up where it's at now. It's worn itself out, so I have a new one coming. So next week, I'm going to try to hang it maybe from right here where you guys can see it if you're watching me on Facebook Live. If you're watching through the Stables Network, you can also see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have it come like right in here where you guys can see it, stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get that going. But that is kind of some updates. Again, guys, I do apologize for not being here the last 2 weeks. There hasn't been a lot to talk to. I had some company in last Monday that I had a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a while that I had some internet issues. So I've had some things go awkwardly wrong the past 2 Mondays. But again, like I said, this upcoming Monday is the NFL draft. So I will be talking about the draft this evening. So let me go ahead and get right into it. I'll go ahead, guys, and start with the players that are the prospects. You guys don't really know this story. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I have a little bit of a history with the NFL draft. Last year, I was writing for a website known as Bucks Report. They invited me to Fergs. If you do not know where I'm located at, guys, I'm in the state of Florida in the Tampa Bay area. Fergs is right across the street from Tropicana Field. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Right across the street from Tropicana Field. They had me come in there and do a draft party with them. And they decided that I was going to come in there and talk about the prospects from the 5 major universities that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could draft. So I had to go through and pick out ones who I thought would fit the team very well. Well, things got started in the draft. If you're not from this area, there is a famous local sportscaster named Al Keck. A lot of people know who he is. If you're from the Tampa Bay area, you know who Al Keck is. He was brought in by the host of the show, and before you know it, the draft kicks off, and I am sitting in the background where you cannot see me, telling the guy to ring the bell to let them know that the picks were in, as we were all sitting there waiting for the fifth pick, which we all know ended up, for the Bucs this past year, picking up who they picked up, the linebacker that they picked up. His name escapes me right now. But they it will come down to that. Anyway, what happened is they really embarrassed the hell out of me. They brought me in after the draft had already started. I was getting ready to get out of there and go home, and I should have left without even doing what I did. But I did it because they asked me to do it, so I did it. And come to find out, the mic kept cutting out. I wasn't standing too close to the microphone. So I was really embarrassed. Now, again, guys, this was before I started podcasting. This happened before that. So had this happened after that, I don't really know if I would be doing this right now, because that might have ended up derailing my podcasting career. So guess what, guys? I'm happy to say this upcoming Thursday, I will be doing a draft from here. It will be cool. I'm not going to have to be worrying about being embarrassed. And I'm going to do my, local college picks from right now, so that I don't have to worry about that on Thursday. So let me go ahead and get into that, guys, on who from the 5 major universities are in here. I'll start with UCF. Of course, that's my favorite university, right? Being that I cover the Bulls. That is the UCF Golden Knights. If you're counting at home, that is the Knights. There's the picks for them, guys, is they have wide receiver Gabriel Davis, which I heard is going to go pretty high. They have a running back in Adrian Tillich Jr. They have a defensive lineman, Brandon Hayes. They have a cornerback named Neville Clark. That is also a prospect. Nate Evans is an inside linebacker. And Jordan Johnson is a guard, offensive center, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that is correct. And then we'll move on, guys. So those are the Knights that are in there. The South Florida Bulls, Mitchell Wilcox is the top tight end. I got to see him a lot this year. I'm hoping that he goes to a team that can use him. Marcus Norman is a offensive tackle. Blake Barnett, guys, is the quarterback. I'm not really sure with his injuries where he will go. That's going to be interesting to say the least. But those guys, those are the USF prospects. Let me go ahead, guys, and get to the big 3 of the state, and that will be Miami, Florida, and Florida State. I'll start with the Miami Hurricanes. The Hurricanes have, as we go through my notes here. Yes, I have notes for the first time in a long time, guys. It's been a while since I've had notes. We're going to start with running back DJ Dallas. He is there. Wide receiver KJ Osborne. Wide receiver Jeff Thomas. Defensive end Jonathan Garvin. Defensive end Trevon Hill. Linebacker Shaquille Quarterman. Linebacker Michael Pickney, who's a very good linebacker. Cornerback Trajan Bandy. And those are the Miami Hurricanes that are in the draft. The Florida Gators that are listed in the draft are defensive lineman Jonathan Grenard, defensive lineman Jabari Zunda, wide receiver Van Jefferson, running back Michael Pirine, wide receiver Tyree Cleveland, linebacker David Reese, wide receiver Freddie Swain, starting tackle Tommy Townsend, wide receiver Josh Hammond, defensive line Adam Schuler, defensive back Javon Taylor, defensive line Luke Akram, offensive line Nick Buchanan, tight end Andres Salvador, and then they have Jacob Teilman are all in the draft for the um, Florida Gators. The 4 Seminoles that I have, guys, that are listed down. It took me a while to find some of this stuff, but they have Cam Akers, Kevin Gavin, I think, are the 2. They have Stanford Samuels, the 3rd, and Levante Taylor are the 4 Florida State Seminoles that are listed down. Guys, there could be more. I had some issues finding some of those players that were available for certain teams. So that, it didn't come too easy. But I mean, those were the 4 that I had listed down for those teams. So those guys are the ones that I have available, that were listed down for the prospects for each team, all the 32 teams, not just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those who can be available for all 32 teams. If you guys take a look, please head over to iRock Media. I wrote an article about what 3 positions I thought the Bucs should look at in the draft. Head on over there and read the article, because I did mention one of the players I just mentioned in Cam Akers. I thought that he would fit very well here with Tom Brady and company. So I thought that he would be a good back for the Buccaneers to pick up this upcoming Thursday. Let me dive into it, guys. Let me dive into finding out what's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and everything else that's going on with the 3 teams. So let's go ahead and start with who everyone out there believes that they're going to pick. NFL.com. This is a staff writer, Carmen Vitale. This is her analysis. The NFL.com's Daniel Jeremiah NFL pick offensive tackle Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. Again, that would be the smart thing. Add an offensive lineman. Charles Davis of NFL.com has them picking offensive tackle Jared Willis out of Alabama. Again, another offensive lineman. Peter Schrager of NFL.com has them taking Andrew Thomas as well. Maurice Jones-Drew of NFL.com has them also taking Andrew Thomas with their first pick. And again, their pick, guys, comes at number 14 in the draft. So they get the 14th overall pick. Todd McShay has them taking offensive tackle Mekhi Becton out of Louisville. Let me adjust my fan here, guys. Sorry about that. He has them in round 2 taking safety Jermaine Chin as well. Mel Kiper of ESPN has them taking Andrew Thomas with that pick. The Draft Network's Benjamin Solak has them also taking Thomas. Jordan Reed of the Draft Network has them taking Jarrett Willis of Alabama. I believe I mentioned him before. Trevor Sycamore, who I got to listen to right here on 620 this morning, has them trading up to get offensive tackle Gerard Willis Jr. Mike Renner of Pro Football has them taking defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports has them taking Andrew Thomas. Matt Miller of Bleacher Report also has them taking Andrew Thomas. Scott Reynolds of PewterReport.com has them taking Andrew Thomas as well. So a lot of similarities, guys, with that first pick. Is it seems like it's going to be offensive tackle. I've heard a lot of people that are close to the Bucs here locally that said that is going to be the first pick. They've got to get an offensive tackle. Of course, now with Tom Brady being here, guys, you don't have that flexibility anymore with running. What you had with Jameis, who now Jameis Winston, guys, is still a free agent. He's still out there. I would think that the best fit for him would be Jacksonville. I still think that. I don't know if he's going to end up there, but I believe that would be the best fit for him. Let me go ahead, guys, and say that here's what the David Harrison has them taking in the draft. This is some of the picks he's got. From Sporting News, Vinny Iver has the Bucks taking Andrew Thomas in the first round, J.K. Dobbins in the second round, guard center Robert Hunt in the third round, fourth round wide receiver Antonio Gandy Golden, fourth round safety Justin Blackman, fifth round defensive tackle Khalil Davis, and then they have cornerback Dane Jackson out of Pittsburgh is another person that they have interest in the Bucks taking at that pick or going through the round. I actually, guys, at one time believed that running back Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin would be a great pick, but then again, he is not the guy that they need. They need a guy that catches the ball out of the backfield, and that's what it would be. And I'm not saying that Jonathan Taylor can't be that type of guy. He's just more of a downhill runner. Bill Barnwell has the Bucks moving up in the draft to the 7th pick. They would send the 14th and 45th picks in this draft and a 4th round pick in 2021 to move up to 7 to trade with the Carolina Panthers. And with that, they would go ahead and I don't know who they have down. I guess they would, make the trade. I'm not sure who they would trade up to get. A lot of people, again, guys, reading down the list here, have them taking Andrew Thomas out of Georgia as their first pick. I actually, in my article, wrote worse out of Iowa was the guy that I had picked, but I could have been wrong on that. Carmen Vitale, who I just read, actually gave his draft, and that was Javon Kinlaw, Jonathan Taylor. So he has them taking Taylor, wide receiver Brandon Aiku, 4th round offensive lineman Ben Bardock, and safety Terrell Burgess, 5th round quarterback Anthony Gordon, 6th round offensive lineman Michael Anawa out of Michigan. So he has them taking Jonathan Taylor, who I've got to see wholeheartedly this past year for USF as Wisconsin came to Raymond James Stadium and put an absolute thumping on the USF Bulls. I was my first game of the 2019 USF Bulls season to watch them get murdered at home by the Wisconsin Badgers. That was pretty bad. Some of them guys, again, still having them taking Kawhi Chasen, the edge rusher out of LSU, and then the biggest surprise is that the 49ers take Tristan Wirfs, who I thought would be a fine pick here at number 13 before the Bucks get a chance to draft them. Here's John Bueller, and he's giving his 7th round mock. He has them taking Javon Kinlaw, the defensive lineman out of South Carolina. He has J.K. Dobbins in the 2nd round of Ohio State. He would fit well here. Either Dobbins or Akers would be a good fit for the Buccaneers to get in the 2nd round. He has offensive tackle Matt Peart in the 3rd round out of UConn. In the 4th round, he has them taking KJ Hill, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. In the 5th, and he has Harrison Hand, the cornerback out of Temple. There have been a lot of talks today about them drafting cornerbacks. In the 5th round, he has them taking safety Jared Maiden out of Alabama. In the 6th round, he has them taking Tyler Huntley, the quarterback out of Utah. Again, they probably will be looking to draft a quarterback. Because again, remember now, they only signed Tom 2 years. I don't think Tommy's got more than 2 years left that way anyway. So they went out and made a fan vote. The fans for the Buccaneers chose Javon Kinlaw. That's who they chose. Kinlaw is coming off a strong senior season with the Gamecocks, where he's recorded 35 total sacks, 6 sacks, 2 passes defended, 2 fumbles, and 12 appearances. He racked up 10 sacks over his first 2 seasons. 22-year-old South Carolina native should immediately join the team's defensive line rotation along with Dominic Sue, William Goldston, and Vita Vea as part of a 3-4 scheme. The Bucs already made the biggest splash of the offseason by signing longtime New England Patriot quarterback Tom Brady to a 2-year, $50 million contract. He brings a resume that includes 6 Super Bowl championships, 3 MVPs, and 14 Pro Bowl selections. Along with that, he's a rival to a potent offense featuring wide receivers Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, tight ends Cameron Brate, and I believe O.J. Howard might be on the trade block, and running back Ronald Jones II give the Bucs ample offensive upside heading into the 2020 campaign. The Bucs are listed at negative 155 to make the playoffs and an 8-1 to win the NFC Championship, and the latest odds in the Caesar Sportsbook. Now, guys, if you do not know, the Super Bowl in 2021 is where? Drum roll, Tampa. It's at Raymond James Stadium. And if there was someone out there of all the teams out there like the Bucs, the Lions, the Saints not so much now, but the Bucs and the Lions would be the fact that you would run into that. Those would be the type of teams that would host the Super Bowl. So wouldn't it be funny if the Bucs ended up getting Tom Brady and then going to the Super Bowl this year and being the first team ever in NFL history to host the big game? Cross our fingers. If for all Bucs fans out there, let's hope that happens. Now, I was telling you earlier about O.J. Howard being traded. The Bucs have reportedly exploring a trade involving tight end O.J. Howard. Michael Lombardi reported as much as the GM Shuffle podcast with Adrian Burke, saying, I think Howard's got a great name, but I think there's an instinctive issue that's going on. I think he's going to be available. Lombardi went as far to say he wouldn't be surprised if the Alabama product was traded during this upcoming week. So far, guys, he is still a Buccaneer. Any trade involving Howard would only increase speculation that Rob Gronkowski would come out of retirement and play tight end alongside his former teammate Tom Brady. Brady and Gronkowski formed a nearly unsolvable duo for the Patriots and could write the final chapters of their careers together in the NFC South. Tampa Bay General Manager Jason Licht was asked about the possibility of Gronkowski. Well, he's doing a pretty good job in WrestleMania right now, for Jenna Lane of ESPN. I have no idea if he'd want to play. Some may speculate Howard to put up Gronkowski-like numbers when the Buccaneers used the number 19 pick overall of the 2017 NFL Draft of him call a career with the Crimson Tide. Instead, he failed to reach the 600-yard mark in any of his first 3 seasons and caught a mere 1 touchdown in 14 games last year. While Howard has shared targets at tight end position with Cameron Brate, he also is part of an offense that features Mike Evans, Chris Godwin on the outside, and doesn't face nearly as much defensive attention as he would in other aerial attacks. Brady is well suited to find him over the middle if opposing secondaries are doubling Evans and Godwin on the outside. But the combination may never get the chance to play with each other if the Buccaneers trade him. So again, guys, that is a rumor right now that they're on the verge of trading O.J. Howard. That's still out there for that. That's still a possibility that he would be traded. Here's one of those draft profiles would be Memphis. Here's the running back position. Now, this is another draft profile on Memphis running back Antonio Gibson. The Memphis Tigers, guys, was the cream of the crop this year in the AAC. Again, being that I cover USF, you got to pay attention to your conference, and Memphis happens to be in the same conference as USF is. In 2019, Gibson had 38 receptions for 735 yards and 33 rushes for 369 yards, along with 12 total touchdowns. He had a ton of opportunities, but he made the most of his chances and averaged an impressive 15.5 yards per touch during his final season. He posted a 4.39 second in the 40-yard dash and put his pass-catching prowess on display in the individual drills. Again, guys, this would be a guy that would be out there, that would be an under guy that no one else is looking at, and a chance for the Bucs to get ahead and get a pass-catching running back, which is kind of, if you remember, guys, and again, a lot of people don't pay attention to the Patriots because you're Bucs fans. I am both fans of both teams. So I got to see Tom play up close. And he always had it, with James White, Sony Michel in the past. He's had catching running backs coming out of the backfield. So for me, they have to do that here. They're going to have to do something here. They're going to have to do the same thing here to get this offense moving. The running game has been an issue with the Bucs for a long time. In fact, the last 1,000-yard rusher here was Doug Martin. So just think how far back that was. Peyton Barber never had one. Ronald Jones never had one. So again, guys, that has been the issue. To me, how I'm looking at it, I don't think they've had a good running back since Warwick Dunn. So that's a long time ago. So if they can go ahead and draft somebody, like Cam Akers, like J.K. Dobbins, like the back I just mentioned in Davis, it would be something to have them, have that running position, somehow shored up. If they trade O.J. Howard, then that's going to be Cameron Brate. It's going to be catching a lot of passes. They're going to need a slot receiver. Maybe they'll do that as well. Maybe they'll draft a slot receiver to help, because Tom has always had Edelman and guys like that he's had throughout his career in New England. So that would be interesting to say the least. But let's just go see, guys. Let's hold back all the Bucs fans out there. Let's see where they go on Thursday. Let's see if they pick Thomas or Wirfs, or they pick Kinlaw, or they pick Chasen. Let's see where the Bucs go. I have a good feeling that it's probably going to be offensive line. That's just how I look at it. I don't think that they're going to draft defense right away. They have a defensive line that basically is almost the same defensive line they had a year ago back, who was very, very good. Of course, they tagged Shaq Barrett. They have Sue back. They have Vita Vea under contract. They brought Goldston back. So they have that line pretty much shored up from last year. They got JPP back for 2 more seasons. So they shored up the defensive line. I think the part of the defense the Bucs need to look at, again, as it was talked about when I was listening to the radio this morning, 620 WDAE, the Ronnie and T-Crash show, they said something about that the Bucs are looking to get a corner, but they need a veteran corner, not drafting a corner, because you have 3 young corners. They drafted Sean Murphy Bunting last year. So I don't see them going out and getting a young cornerback. They're going to have to get one through a trade, maybe make some trades, maybe get a veteran guy that they can bring in. Let me go ahead and jump, guys, to the Miami Dolphins, who have, are you ready for this? 14 total picks in this draft. And I'm not kidding you. They have 14 picks in this upcoming draft on Thursday. That is a lot of different combinations the Dolphins can do. They have 14 picks. They have the most cap money of any NFL franchise right now. So they are sitting pretty damn good, in my opinion. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, be excited. Because guess what, guys? Tom Brady's not in the AFC East no more. He's in the NFC South now. So he is gone. So now it's battling with the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets. Everyone's now back down to level 1. I think, to me, in my opinion, right now, the division is in the hands of the Buffalo Bills. They are the best team right now until we see what the Patriots do in the draft on Thursday. Again, we'll have to wait and see how that goes on Thursday. We'll have to wait and see which way it goes. But here we are, guys, with the Miami Dolphins mock draft. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with them. Okay, Dan Bugler of The Athletic has them taking Justin Hubert at the 5th pick, not Tua. At number 18, he has them taking Austin Jackson, tackle out of USC. Number 26, he has them taking J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. Now, again, if J.K. Dobbins is off the panel, then obviously that pick wouldn't go through, but he might do it. Eric Edholm of Yahoo Sports has them also taking Justin Hubert out of Oregon. He has them taking Azar Cleveland, the tackle out of Boise State. And at 26, he has them taking Xavier McKinley, the safety out of Alabama. Todd McShay of ESPN has them taking Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama, Xavier out of Alabama. And then you have Josh Jones, the tackle out of Houston as well, for him at 26. Mel Kiper has them taking Tua as well at number 5. At 18, he has them taking DeAndre Swift, the running back out of Georgia. And at 26, he has them taking Josh Jones, the tackle out of Houston. Chad Reuter of NFL.com has them taking Justin Hubert. He actually has them projecting trading up to 4 with the Giants. 18, Austin Jackson, the tackle out of USC. And he has them taking Jonathan Taylor, the running back out of Wisconsin, at 26. Lance Zerline of NFL.com has them taking Joe Burrow, which means they would trade up to the number 1 overall pick with the Bengals and take Joe Burrow out of LSU. Number 26, they would only have 2 picks, Josh Jones, the tackle out of Houston. Let's see if they do that, guys, because again, like I said, they have 14 picks in this draft. You never know. They might end up trading up to number 1, and they might end up getting Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow may be coming to the AFC East, so we'll have to wait and see. Peter Schrager at NFL.com has them taking Tua at 5, Henry Ruggs III, the wide receiver out of Alabama, at 18, and he has them taking DeAndre Swift, the running back out of Georgia, at 26. Daniel Germain of NFL.com has them taking Justin Hubert at 5. Yator Gross-Matos, the edge rusher from Penn State. He's been a big name I've heard on a lot of draft boards. And at 26, he has them taking Josh Jones, the tackle out of Houston. Charles Davis of NFL.com has them taking Tua at 5, Austin Jackson at 18, and DeAndre Swift at 26. Maurice Jones-Drew also believes that Joe Burrow will fall to 5. They'll get him out of LSU, Austin Jackson at 18, and DeAndre Swift at 26. Charlie Casari of NFL.com has them taking Tua at 5, Xavier McKinley at 18, and Austin Jackson at 26. Chris Sarapros of CBSSports.com has them taking Tua as a projected trade with the Lions, trading up to 3. Mikael Becton, the tackle out of Louisville, at 13, and Xavier McKinley, the safety out of Alabama, at 26. RJ White of CBSSports.com has them taking Tua at 2, moving up with the Redskins. Josh Jones, the tackle out of Houston, and that's the only 2 picks they get in the first round. Pete Prisco, CBS Sports has them taking Justin Hubert at 5, Henry Ruggs III at 18, and Arzava Cleveland at 26. Will Bremson of CBSSports.com has them taking Justin Hubert at 5, Josh Jones at 18, and Xavier McKinley at 26. Tyler Roman of NBCSports.com has them taking Tua, K. Lawson Chasen out of LSU at 18, and DeAndre Swift at 26. Charlie Campbell of WalterFootball.com has them taking Tua at 5, Josh Jones at 18, and DeAndre Swift at 26. Walter Trapinski of WalterFootball.com has them taking Justin Hubert at 5, Josh Jones at 18, DeAndre Swift at 26. Dan Kudar of Sportsbook Nation has them taking Justin Hubert, Kalon Chasen, Josh Jones at 5, 18, and 26. Nate Davis of USA Today has them taking Justin Hubert, trading down to 10 with the Browns, Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver out of LSU, and Josh Jones out of Houston at 26. Luke Esterling of Touchdown Wire has them taking Justin Hubert, Josh Jones, and Cesar Ruiz of the offensive lineman out of Michigan. Vinny Iver of the Sporting News has them taking Tua at 5, Xavier McKinley at 18, and DeAndre Swift at 26. Kevin Hasten of Sports Illustrated has them taking Hubert, McKinley, and Jones in that order. Matt Miller of BleacherReport.com has them taking Tua, Josh Jones, and DeAndre Swift. Michael Renard of Pro Football Focus has them taking Tua, trading up to 3 with the Lions, and Josh Jones. Joe Marino of the Draft Network has them taking Tua, Kalos Chasen, and Josh Jones. Kyle Krabs of the Draft Network has them taking Tua, Mikael Becton, and then Benjamin Soak of the Draft Network has them taking Hubert, McKinley, and Braun. The final one would be Jordan Reed of the Draft Network. He has them taking Tua, trading up to 3, and Josh Jones, the tackle of Houston. So those are, if you read into that, guys, it looks like a lot of people have them taking Justin Hubert and not Tua. So again, we'll have to wait and see where the Dolphins go with that, because it looks like to me it's either going to be Tua or it's going to be Justin Hubert. We're going to have to wait and see how that all goes down. Here is Jared Dubin. He says that they're going to take Tua, Josh Jones, and Jonathan Taylor. His day 2 picks would be Zach Braun, Robert Hunt, and Cameron Dantzler. Day 3 would be Anthony Jennings, Shan O'Grady, Colin Johnson, Jacob Phillips, Jonathan Fuller, Quays Watkins, Josh Metellus, and Desmond Patton. Again, these are like into the different rounds, guys, moving into, a couple of days. But he still has them taking Tua. I think it's going to come down to that, guys. Again, they may make some trades. They may move up to make sure they get Justin Hubert. They may move up to get Tua. There were, again, like I said, some of the guys had them moving up to the number 1 overall pick with the Bengals. So again, we'll have to wait and see, because you never know when the draft might start, and you end up having, them saying that, the first overall pick has been traded to the Miami Dolphins. And they may end up taking Joe Burrow. So we don't know, guys. We'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down. But again, like I said, they have 14 picks. They definitely have some ways of doing that. Jordan Love has been linked to the Dolphins as well, along with Tua and Justin Hubert. Rumors selecting Tua is becoming more unlikely. Months leading in the draft, it appeared the Dolphins were selecting Tua. That no longer appears to be the case. So again, that has been going around. They're going to take either Jordan Love or Justin Hubert, not Tua at 5. Again, we're going to have to wait and see. They are doing their due diligence on Justin Hubert. Hubert seems to be the guy, guys. I mean, he seems to be the one that a lot of people are looking at to be drafted there instead of Tua. We'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down, as we get closer to the draft on Thursday. Again, we're 3 days out, so a lot can change. And, a lot of times, guys, you may have it where it's smokescreen. A lot of people, if there's someone out there that wanted to draft Hubert, or they're gonna try to move up, that kind of stuff happens. That stuff happens, guys. So don't, it could be smoke and screens and stuff like that. It just comes down to how that breaks out. All right, guys. So the last team would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars, Josh Berg has them taking Javon Kinlaw, the defensive lineman out of South Carolina. Others have Kristen Fulton, the cornerback out of LSU. Round 2 will be Kyle Dugler, the safety. Round 3, Matthew Perrott, the offensive tackle out of Connecticut. Round 4 will be inside offensive lineman Logan Sternberg. Round 4 is Colin Johnson, the wide receiver out of Texas. Round 4, Dane Jackson, the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. Round 5 will be Francis Bernard, linebacker out of Utah. They also have them taking Darius Anderson, running back out of TCU. Round 6, Steven Montez, the quarterback out of Colorado. Round 6, Jonathan Runyon, offensive tackle, Michigan. Round 7, Juwan Johnson, the wide receiver out of Oregon. Again, they're going to need to fill some of their needs. Here is the CBS Sports way of looking at the draft. Let's see who they have. They have them taking. Okay, let's see. Jacksonville Jaguars. The 9th pick in the draft. They've taken Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. That's interesting. They also have in them taking Shark as well, the 20th pick. AJ Espinoza, the defensive end, since Unakwe has complained that he doesn't want to be in Jacksonville anymore. I will get to that later. Here is some of the mock drafts for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have them taking Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle out of Iowa at 9. Again, that would take away from what I wrote about the Bucs and them taking Wirfs if the Jaguars take him first at number 9. They also have the 20th pick in the first round. They have Brecon Davis, the inside defensive lineman out of Alabama. Round 2, they trade up and receive the 35th overall pick. with the Lions, and they take A.J. Espinoza, the edge rusher out of Iowa. Round 3, they take Troy Pride Jr., the cornerback out of Notre Dame. And that one, round 4, they take Hunter Bryant, the tight end out of Washington. They also have another 4th-round pick, Tyler Johnson, wide receiver out of Minnesota. Guys, I got to watch him closely at the Outback Bowl. That kid is a stud. Round 5, Nate Stanley, the quarterback out of Iowa. Again, they're looking to get another quarterback to back up Gardner Minshew, which, again, guys, I always thought if Jameis Winston could get a fresh start, it would be in Jacksonville. That was just how I looked at it. In round 5, they have them taking J.R. Reed, the safety out of Georgia. Round 6, Silva Onalia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the running back out of TCU. The other draft in round 6 would be Tyree Phillips, the inside offensive lineman from Mississippi State. Round 7, Ray Lima, defensive tackle out of Iowa State. So again, guys, we will have to just wait, sit back and wait. There have been talks about trading Leonard Fournette. The Buccaneers have said that they aren't interested anymore, but again, he is gaining some move. Look for that to possibly happen before Thursday or be there on Thursday. We'll have to wait and see. C.J. Henderson, the Florida cornerback, definitely has been a standout for the Jaguars. So he could possibly be one of their picks, maybe their first pick. And then, like I said, disgruntled defensive end Yannick Ngakoue ahead of the draft is not happy. He is not happy once he wants to be traded. There have been no offers made for him at the present moment, and he is not happy with his role in Jacksonville at all. He is having issues with that. It's just really unfortunate that now we are just days away from the draft starting up, and you have a defensive end that is not happy with his role and wants to be traded off the team. And that's something right there that, is kind of something that maybe you should look into, It's really unfortunate that it would have to say otherwise, but, it is hard to please somebody when they're not happy with their role. Again, guys, like I said, we are 3 days away from the 2020 NFL draft. As far as I know, up till this point, the NFL really is the only league that will be starting on time. I don't really know what else might happen. We'll have to wait and see if that is the truth moving forward. With everything going on with the coronavirus, it's hard to tell if NFL and or college football will start on time. Me being as big as a football fan as I am, I sure hope so. I know there are a lot more important things out there than football and sports right now. I understand that, but it's something that, as sports fans, we can, get back to getting used to watching. And I would love to be sitting in the press box again this year for the USF Bulls, covering them again for the 3rd season. It would be pretty cool to cover them for a 3rd season. If the season gets canceled, then again, it would be the 2021 season. And that will be, of course, one of the first home games USF Bulls will be on Saturday, September 11th, 2021, 20 years exactly to the day of the 9/11 tragedy in New York, as the Florida Gators will play at Raymond James Stadium against the USF Bulls. So that will be a hard day for me as a broadcaster. That podcast, again, that's way into the future, guys, but that Thursday I will be jacked up, and I probably will not sleep on Friday night for that game. But anyway, guys, that is going to pretty much wrap up my show for this week. I don't have anything else going on this week, but I will be back next week because I'm going to go back and, we're going to go through all the draft grades, all the picks. We're going to talk about that. where everyone landed, and all that stuff. It should be a very, very entertaining week next week to go back through the draft, and maybe by then we'll have some light on if anything is coming back. Hopefully, baseball might be coming back, but we can talk about the Rays and the Marlins, how things are going there, and maybe just maybe hockey will somehow come back. We can talk about the Lightning and the Panthers if they're in the playoffs, or if NBA decides to come back with the Magic and the Heat. There are still possibilities of those coming back. Again, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the virus. And the virus basically has control. People could sit here and tell you that this is going to start on this date. The virus has control right now. It will tell you when it's going to come back, when everything will get back to semi-normalcy around the world, and we'll be able to get back to entertainment as far as sports and concerts and going to the movies and so on and so forth. So that we'll have to wait for that. Before I go, guys, I want to give a shout out to our first responders, nurses, doctors who are fighting the coronavirus first in line, head on every day. I want to give a big shout out to all of you guys for that. Of course, also to our men and women of our armed services, both retired and active. Thank you for doing what you do. I would not be sitting here if you guys did not sacrifice and do what you do. Continue to kick ass every day for us here in America. I also again want to give a shout out to our domestic soldiers, our firefighters, paramedics, and police officers who are now kind of battling new battles every day with what is going on around the United States and around the world. But then again, guys, I want to thank Mark Mancini, Breck Smith. Thank you guys for producing my show. And this is the Sports Sir Brad Walker. I am signing off this evening. I will be back to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber next week to review the 2020 NFL Draft for the Bucs, Jaguars, and Dolphins. Join me on the Walker Report, guys. Hop on. I'll give you guys the phone number to hop on next week. Come on my draft show. I'd love to have you guys. I'll unmute you guys and we can talk about the NFL draft as if we were talking in the same room together. So I'm really, really looking forward. Hopefully some of you guys in the Staples Network can come join me on the Walker Report on that day. Until then, guys, please stay safe out there. Hopefully no one gets sick. No one gets this virus in their family or friends. I love every single one of you, as I always do. I will see you back here next Monday. If you want to join me on the Walker Report on my draft show on Thursday, please hit me up on Facebook or hit me up through the Staples Network. Either Breck or Mark can put you in touch with me. But until next Monday, guys, I am out. Enjoy then. Peace.